Don't miss our price on News 24 at 10 next.
Tonight, a search party may have found the body of a man missing from Perry County since mid-January. And an 82-year-old man from Marion who robbed a bank in Benton will go to jail for 10 week ends. Plus, family members and friends laid to rest a fallen hero this morning in her hometown of Pinckneyville. We have those stories and more tonight on a Wednesday night edition of News 24 at 10.
I don't know that one.
Live, Little Egypt's breaking news source. This is News 24 at 10.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, but we begin in Pinckneyville, where a search party may have found the body of a missing Perry County man since mid-January. Today, searchers located the body in the Campbell Pond area of Jackson County. The sheriff believes it is Williamson Tonight, a search party may have found the body of a missing man from Perry County since mid-January. And an 82-year-old man from Marion who robbed a bank in Benton will go to jail for 10 week ends. Plus, family members and friends laid to rest a fallen hero this morning in her hometown of Pinckneyville. We'll have those stories and more tonight. Tonight, a search party may have found the body of a man missing from Perry County since mid-January. And an 82-year-old man from Marion who robbed a bank in Benton will go to jail for 10 week ends. Plus, family members and friends laid to rest a fallen hero this morning in her hometown of Pinckneyville. We have those stories and more tonight on a Thursday night edition of News 24 at 10.
Live, Little Egypt's breaking news source. This is News 24 at 10.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, but we begin in Jackson County, where a search party may have found the body of a man missing from Perry County since mid-January. Today, searchers located the body of William Stroud in the Campbell Pond area of Jackson County. The sheriff believes it is Williamson Stroud, 43, of DeCoin. Stroud's family reported him missing on January 17th. A death investigation is underway and an autopsy is planned. An 82-year-old man from Marion who robbed a bank in Benton will now go to jail for 10 weekends. Arthur Bays was also sentenced to 4 months of probation and 180 days of house arrest in federal court today. Crystal Human, the teller at the State Bank of Whittington when Bays approached her on July 26, says Bays demanded money from her and flashed a toy gun from his wristband meant to look like a real one. Arthur Bays is evil, Human wrote in a victim impact statement submitted to the court earlier this week. Before the sentencing today, Human told Bays she's scared to wait on customers she doesn't know, especially elderly customers. Bays' lawyer, federal public defender Melissa Day, told a different story, one of a man who got into financial trouble after his wife passed away. Bays lives off $1,300 a month from Social Security and has a number of different medical issues, including a heart surgery in September. He told the judge he got deeper into debt with a car loan and then 5 different payday loans to cover his debt. Assistant U.S. Attorney General George Norwood noted investigators found multiple stacks of scratch-off lottery tickets inside Bays' apartment and said he loves to gamble but can't afford it. Norwood also said the crime was serious and dangerous when he asked the judge for a 51-month sentence. Bays apologized to everyone, including the teller, before the judge sentenced him. addition to the prison sentence, home confinement, and probation, Bays is also required to pay back $1,753 to the State Bank of Whittington. That's the amount of money that was not recovered by police. Of the original $12,528, Bays got away with. Judge J. Phil Gilbert said Bays might be the oldest criminal he's ever had to sentence, and acknowledged a long sentence would likely leave him in prison. Bays pleaded guilty in November. Students at Carbondale Middle School may notice more police on campus Friday morning. This after Carbondale Police and Carbondale Middle School administrators investigated a potential threat of violence against the middle school. According to Carbondale Middle School Principal Carmen Williams Bonds, Carbondale Police visited the home of the child who spoke of this incident and concluded the potential threat of violence was not credible. But to ensure safety, there will be an increased police presence at the school throughout the day. Staff learned of the threat after school when a teacher told an administrator a student said there was going to be a violent act at school on Friday. Police and the school principal visited the student's home to conduct the welfare check. Family members and friends laid to rest a fallen hero this morning in her hometown of Pinckneyville. Sergeant Holly Belinsky died 2 weeks ago in a non-combat related incident in Kuwait. It was a somber day as the fallen soldier traveled through Pinckneyville one last time, and bystanders stopped to say their final goodbyes. The 37-year-old was a wife and mother of 5. Family member Kayla Ardnett said Belinsky had an outgoing and loving personality. Church bells rang before soldiers walked out of St. Bruno Catholic Church carrying the casket that held Belinsky. At the cemetery, dozens listened to the volley of gunfire to honor the hero. The thousands of flags set up on Sunday by community members blew in the wind during the graveside service. Belinsky's family says throughout this difficult time, the community in Pinckneyville has been behind them. One resident made 50 yellow ribbons to hang throughout the town to honor Belinsky. Belinsky was set to return home this summer, and the family says they were already planning her return. But now the family is grateful for all the memories they have of Belinsky. Belinsky was one of 3 soldiers inside the military SUV when a commercial vehicle ran a stop sign. 20-year-old Special Agent Jackson Johnson of Hillsboro, Missouri also died in the incident. Johnson was laid to rest at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery in St. Louis today as well. On Monday, Heartland Regional Medical Center admitted liability in the 2013 death of Lowell Williamson. 2 days later, a Williamson County jury awarded his family $8.5 million in damages. Lowell Williamson died after an elective surgery in August 2013. Williamson's lawyers say a certified registered nurse, anesthesiast, and hospital employees gave him a dangerous amount of anesthesia and failed to treat him in time. The widow's lawyers also say that although a physician was required to be immediately available, the attending anesthesiologist did not respond to the emergency situation for approximately 55 minutes, despite multiple attempts to contact her. Cosgrove says the main goal of the lawsuit was to make sure what happened at Heartland never happens again. Madeline says she's grateful to have closure, but thinks about her husband every day. The $8.5 million in damages is believed to be the highest personal injury verdict in Williamson County Court. To the weather, where some relief is on the way after rainy weather yesterday. Here's Terry with the latest. All right, thanks, Terry. Good job for wrapping it up so quick. We're short on time tonight. And so, with that, we're going to go on to our next story. Today marks World Down Syndrome Awareness Day, and local moms are sharing misconceptions about the genetic disorder. Carbondale resident Samantha Dudley says her 4-year-old son, Dash, is active. He also has Down syndrome, meaning he was born with a full or partial extra copy of chromosome 21. Samantha found out at the hospital when Dash was a newborn that he also faces heart issues, which can be common for those born with the genetic disorder. After being transferred to St. Louis in an incubator for 9 days, Samantha was able to hold him for the first time. Part of that support is connecting with other children who have Down syndrome, like Sonia Clark's 4-year-old son, Jazz. Sonia says her son's symptoms are slight. However, the mothers say there are a lot of misconceptions, like those with Down syndrome are always happy. Another misconception is that because of mental and emotional delays, they can't understand our body language. Instead, with support and patience, those with Down syndrome can go on to do whatever they set their mind to. Samantha also says being a professional video game player might be in Dash's future. The mothers are also co-leaders of the Southern Illinois Down Syndrome Community Group. Members meet once a month and participate in free activities. Their next event is at a pool party at the Hub in Marion from 2 to 4 p.m. March 23rd to celebrate the World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. A federal fund set up to help miners suffering from black lung is in danger. The fund is secured through a tax on coal companies. After the government shut down earlier this year, the tax was allowed to decrease by more than 50 cents per ton and hasn't been restored. Stacey Renninger works closely with those affected and says the disease affects roughly 25,000 members of the United Mine Workers of America. She says the fund was already in trouble due to the growing number of bankrupt coal companies. Not only would this have a large direct impact on coal miners and their families, Renninger says it's also possible local economies with a high concentration of coal miners could see an indirect impact as well. According to Renninger, Congress is looking at using unused money originally intended for coal mine land reclamation to supplement the fund. She says with no change, the fund is projected to become insolvent within 2 years. The Trump administration has been trying to change the eligibility for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, the National Food Assistance Program. The changes have the potential to affect hundreds of thousands of people, especially those already living in poverty. This week, Illinois lawmakers met with families that stand to lose those benefits. Karen Hilberg, 33, needs the $200 per month in food stamps to get what she needs to eat. The former educator has been unable to work since 2012 when she suffered a brain injury on the job. If not for the government finally designating her as disabled, she would be one of the hundreds of thousands of Americans in Illinois and other states who could lose their monthly food assistance under a rule change proposed by the Trump administration. The proposed U.S. Department of Agricultural rule change affects people between the ages of 18 and 49 who are childless and not disabled. Currently, people considered able-bodied adults without dependents and no disability are required to work at least 20 hours a week for more than 3 months over a 36-month period. However, states may request to waive the time limit in areas that have unemployment rates above 10% or where the unemployment rate is 20% above the national average, which regulations recognize as having not sufficient jobs. The USDA proposed a rule change would limit the waivers states request. In a press release, the USDA said the rule would ensure work provisions and waived only when necessary, encouraging businesses to renew their focus on helping SNAP participants find a path to self-sufficiency. The changes would go into effect as soon as October. The public comment period ends in April. And that's it for news and weather tonight. Unfortunately, we cannot get to sports because, as I mentioned, we are running short on time tonight. And we thank you for joining us. News 24 will continue programming after this short break.